Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Nick Creates. My name is Nick, and today we are going to bring a Pokemon alive. First of all, thank you so much Rowan for suggesting Hitmonchan. Awesome choice. In this episode I will also give it a bit of a creepy vibe, so what are we waiting for? Let's go. There we are in Photoshop. I have chosen this image of Hitmonchan. He gives me a bit of a Groot vibe, so I'm thinking making him wood. But before I continue, I have to make a shape of his face. Make the shape a bit bigger as well. Give it a nice position. For the skin texture, I decided to use this wooden tree. That would look nice. Of course, you know what I do. I give it a mask, place it where we want it. Since I did not want his face to be just this, I decided to give some extra. But you'll see. There we go, and that looks awesome. For the next step, we're gonna make a shape of his shoulder as well. We'll just do one, and then I will duplicate this one for the other shoulder. There we go. And for the shoulder, we are going to use the same texture that we used on his face. Beautiful. Of course, it will look better as soon as we start adding some shadows and highlights. Next step would be his clothes. For his clothes, I had a fantastic idea. Boom. A nice dress. But Nick, what are you going to do with this dress? Well, you will see. Time for a fast forward. Now before we continue with the rest of his dress, I found a nice belt as well that I want to put in there. Let's continue with the fast forward. We know how this goes. Perfect. This is the log that I selected to be his legs, although in the end I had to change this because it didn't look as good as I thought it would. This is what it turned out to be, but it didn't match the rest of his body, so I decided to go back to the original texture, added some boxing gloves, and made this. For his legs, I decided to make it a nice leg shape rather than having two straight lines on the sides. Once I was done with Hitmonchan, it was time to add some shoes. There we go, beautiful shoe for Hitmonchan. And for this, of course, we have to shape it and make sure that his legs fit inside the shoe. There we go, beautiful. And then add some color to it so it matches his outfit, because they are the same color. Hey you! Hit that subscribe button please, it really helps out. Leave a like, let me know in the comments down below what Pokemon should I do next. Also, hit that bell to stay up to date with my latest videos. Let's get back to Photoshop. Now it's time to add the eyes. For this, I masked the original shape of Hitmonchan's eyes. In the end, I adjusted it a little bit, but you get the idea. Once the eyes were in position, I selected them and created an exposure layer on the head. For the mouth, I created a shape myself rather than making a shape for the mouth. A little bit of position and stretching, and boom. Once the mouth was in place, I decided to add some moss to Hitmonchan to give him a bit more of an old creepy wood vibe looking thing. For this I used an alpha layer so I could easily draw the moss onto Hitmonchan. Time for another speeded video. Once the moss was done, I had to make his eyes a bit darker so it wasn't as flat. That looks way better. Now before I start adding some global shadows to Hitmonchan, it's time for the background. So time for yet another speed up. That looks better. Now we have decided where the light source is coming from, we can start by adding some shadows to Hitmonchan. Now before I do this, I also added some moss to the other leg because I used a different texture, but it didn't look as good. That looks way better. Now we can finally add some global shadows to Hitmonchan all over. And yes, another speedy video. Boom, there we go. Hitmonchan with some global shadows, and now we can make him one with the background. Also have to give him some highlights because the light comes from the top of his head. Now I wasn't really happy with the background, so I decided to add some more shadows to the bushes. And of course the light post as well. Once we were done with that, it was time to add some eyes to Hitmonchan. For the eyes I decided to make them white and give them a bit of a red orangey glow. I still think that the image looks a bit too flat, so I decided to add some branches to play a bit with the depth. I do the same on the other side and decided to give it a bit of a blur. After I was done with the shadow underneath Hitmonchan, it was time to add some fog to match the background. For this I used a simple fog brush. And a picture isn't a picture if you add some particles. Of course we didn't want the particles to jump in the picture, so we faded it and masked it. The same for the other side. Once I was done with the particles, it was time to add a nice camera raw filter. The final result of a creepy Hitmonchan. I am happy. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, let me know in the comments down below what Pokemon should I do next. Also hit the bell. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.